The eyes of the nation were on the murder of 11-year-old Carly Brusha of Sarasota in 2004. And this week, Joseph Smith, the man convicted of kidnapping and killing Brusha, failed in his second attempt to appeal his death sentence. SNN's Melissa Warren sat down with Sarasota criminal defense attorney Derek Bird, who explains why the appeals process seems to take so long.
Death penalty cases don't go to the appellate court. Death penalty case is a special exception. It jumps right to the Florida Supreme Court. So it goes right to the Florida Supreme Court. And like Joseph Smith's case is an example, the fact that he had all of his appellate review within 10 years of the date of incident is probably a little bit faster than most. I think the average is around 12 years.
Bird says he often hears people ask why the appeals process can take so long. But he says in a case involving a death penalty, time is not always a bad thing.
Number one, we're probably the only civilized country in the world that even still has the death penalty. If we're going to kill somebody, we probably want to make sure we get it right. Because we've had a number of exonerees coming off death row for DNA, we probably really want to make sure we get it right. So if it does take a long time, and I am probably defending the judicial system on this, I think that's for a reason. I think that due process is important. Death penalty cases tend to be a lot longer than a typical trial.
A second appeal, like the one Smith just had upheld, is known as post-conviction relief and can also take time.
And the lawyer is kind of on trial himself or herself, defending what they did in the person's trial. When that's all finally over and the Florida Supreme Court has finally said, that's it, there's no more appellate remedy for you, then they can even go into the federal system. If you have a death penalty case, they can actually then go into the federal court, which could even take you all the way up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Once a death row inmate has used all state and federal appellate options, the only thing left would be a petition to the governor to not sign the death warrant. In Sarasota, Melissa Warren, SNN, the Suncoast News Network.
Smith's lawyer Robert Strain said in February while arguing his case that if the Florida Supreme Court rejected Smith's appeal, they would take the case to the federal courts where a broader range of issues would be raised.